I just keep trying to say, like, don't get discouraged at what we're learning. I just spent hundreds of dollars on an ad to try to get people to come to this how to start a coffee cart company, with no money, which is our story. And I was trying to use it as like a means to meet new people like around America and begin the conversation of owning a coffee cart, and literally had one person sign up. So, it's like, okay, well, that was hundreds of dollars. So now looking at the analytics, like, was it the ad? Did people click off the ad, or like our webinars out? I don't know. We learn something new every time that we take a step, and I'm still trying to even figure out. The webinar is supposed to be tonight. So like even just prepping that presentation and putting in the hours for having it be ready to go, even if nobody shows up, is like, okay, don't be discouraged. Like, you learn something every time you do something. And so this is me talking to myself in the future and saying, don't be discouraged. Like, it's gonna work. Like, Miranda, keep going, stay strong. You're only a few months in. You're doing a great job. Just hold on. So I've just made the decision this year to leave or go part-time at my day job so I could start working for myself part-time. And truthfully, that could have been a really dumb idea because I'm not making any money yet, like myself. If you don't know, my husband and I started our coffee company 6 years ago, and we've chosen to grow it by franchising mobile espresso bars. And if you hear any background noise, it's my dog Maisie, who just is, for whatever reason, licking like nonstop. So welcome to the party, Maisie. So just in the last month, I've gone part-time and I've been working for myself, and I just have learned so much already about like how to maximize my time with myself, because two things: one, I'm really, really good at working for myself, and two, I'm very easily distracted, and things that are on my calendar can get, moved based on what I think is, more priority in that moment, or even small things. Like, one thing I'm trying to do right now is get 10,000 steps in a day. And there's moments where like I look down and I literally have not moved in 4 hours. And so like taking a pause in my day to go do a lap around the neighborhood or something like that, something as simple as that can throw off your calendar. But here's 3 really practical tips that I've learned since working for myself that I figured I would share. Number 1 is my calendar has to work for me. Like, I need to make sure that I'm giving the best of myself to what's most important. Like, my mind is freshest in the morning, my thoughts are, ready to run at 8 a.m. But there would be moments where I would like schedule, content creating or building, like think through the vision of this next 6 months or whatever it might be. I'd be scheduling that at like 3 p.m. And by 3 p.m., I am absolutely not the best me. I for sure am like experiencing decision fatigue. And so just having to make the decision of like, okay, making sure that I'm giving the best of me to what's most important, and then having room in my calendar to be interrupted, trying to protect the morning so that I know that I'm best in the mornings. Number 2 is asking the question, what do I need to be working on that only I can work on? In other words, is there anything that I'm working on that somebody else could do and it's not effectively maximizing my time? So there's a lot of administrative things that can kind of cloud my day, like going through QuickBooks transactions or running payroll or following up on customers for Google reviews, or a lot of the like everyday mundane tasks that are really important. But by the time I sit down and do, my admin hour, it's been lots of hours, and I can kind of accidentally lose my day that way. And so I'm really trying to be intentional with making sure that the time that I have working for myself is designated like for doing things that only I can be doing. If I don't watch it, I can be so busy working in our business that I'm not actually working on our business. And so making time to do that is really important. And number 3 is just start off your day right. This has been something that we've learned kind of the hard way over the last couple of years since having kids. We just hadn't been able to really get our morning routine like figured out. And part of it was that I just was too lazy or too exhausted in the mornings to fathom waking up earlier than my kids to make sure that I'm in a good headspace. But last year we made the commitment as a couple that we were gonna wake up before our kids and have like designated journaling time and prayer, moments of devotion, and then also being able to go to the gym, because getting those 2 things out of the way has set up my mind to be so clear when I start my day. I can't express how awesome that's been when it comes to working for myself. It just really helps get my mind clear. Like this morning, I spent some time in the sauna and was just thinking through like, okay, what are the things that I need to be working through today, and making sure that they're in my calendar so that my day doesn't get wasted. I feel like I'm really good at working for myself, and also I want to minimize the distractions because I'm the steward of my time. I'm a little bit of like a calendar freak. I probably have 80 calendars between the ones that are on my phone and then the ones that are like in my office, and then this one's in my kitchen, because I'm such a believer of like keeping vision in front of you. And so even like this calendar has the list of, you know, the coffee carts that I'm trying to pursue this year, because in 2026, our goal in growing our franchise company, the practical one, is that we would love to launch 10 coffee carts. And so I've listed out the first 5, which are kind of expanding our Orlando area and wanting to move towards those and make, you know, the decisions that I'm working on in our coffee company are moving towards growing those specific carts. And then I've got my scripture verses for the year. And that's because if I'm not careful, I can get so caught up in building our coffee company that I can neglect what's most important, which is obviously and will always be Jesus and godliness and my relationship with him. And so wanting to make sure that these are not ever in competition with one another, but that scripture stays forward, and that everything we do for our coffee company is in response to what God is asking us to do. And truthfully, we're just trying to steward the best we know how, like with what we have. And I was even looking at that Bible story the other day about the 3 guys with the talents, and one of them multiplied his 5 to 10, and one of them multiplied his 2 to 4, or whatever the numbers are. And then one of them didn't multiply at all because he was so afraid of taking risk that he buried his talent, and then years later went in the ground and pulled it back up and he still had it. But that the response was that person was wicked because they didn't invest what they have. And so every time that we take some kind of leap in our franchise, everything's an experiment right now because we don't know what we don't know. And so like the first webinar is like, this is our best guess. And the first video calls with people, the first discovery calls, like this is us starting and trying in real time. And every time I just pray right before and I say, God, I pray that you would see this as me investing the talents that you've given me and stewarding well with what you've given me, and that you would look at how we're multiplying and you would say, well done, good and faithful servant. And my attempt at multiplication on its own is worship before God, because I'm wanting to steward what he's given us, and he's given me a big vision and a big heart, and my husband too, like both of us running at this together and really wanting to see it flourish, and as much as possible that our heart stays right, because it's hard. It's so easy to get money focused, and it's so easy to get bombarded with like more and bigness, and gosh, just remembering that Jesus is enough is like what brings us home. Even our scripture verse, like for the year, is godliness with contentment is great gain, because I'm just trying to cling on to like, be content, like don't complain, be content with where we are, trust God with the future, take one step at a time, do the next right thing, but keep your eyes fixed on Jesus. And just like what Matthew 6:33 says, seek him first and everything else will work out. And that is exactly what we're doing, because we have no idea what we're doing, and this will be a fun story to document and look back on, I'm sure. Thank you so much for tuning in. I am currently in the middle of my workday now and did actually get up and get some steps in today, but I'm feeling under the weather and I'm just like trying to power through it because because I have to. I have things that I have to get done. And so thank you for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, as it helps support the channel, and we're just getting started. Like I said, any support is much, much appreciated. And we will see you in our next video.